Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Y'all, sorry, I'm about to walk into the sun. The camera's about to go crazy with this light. Anyway, it is Summerween, and I'm so far behind. As y'all know, I had big plans for Summerween. I was gonna read, hang on, I don't know if my hair is on my microphone. I was gonna read a bunch of books and have my videos all done so I could upload them, or upload it, have my video all done so I could upload it the week of Summerween. Well, Summerween week is here and I ain't even started reading my books, but we'll get into all that as soon as y'all like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. And y'all, before we get into the shenanigans, I gotta show you the cutest things ever. First, hang on. I can't remember. Oh no, they're gone. Look, dang it. I was gonna show you the cutest birds in the whole wide world, but they gone. They flew the coop. All right, I still have one other cute thing. Hang on. Not the felons eating grass. That ain't cute. But look. We're gonna have more babies. I know, y'all are so close to me. I know, right? So we got four, I can never remember which, if it's on Fit Danielle Eats or Fit Danielle Reads that I told which story. I think maybe, I can't remember, maybe it was over here that I told y'all about the baby birds that were in that nest. That seriously, there was like one big baby bird in there still this morning that I was about to show y'all. Maybe if I look around, I can find it. But no, I think they have all flown the coop at this point. But anyway, so we had 4 baby birds over there. Something just freaking honked. Oh, hang on. Felon Bo. Enough with the grass. Enough with the grass. Go, scooch. Go, go. Anyway. So we had 4 baby birds over there, and now we're gonna have 2 baby birds over there if I can keep the felons away from them and let the mama nurse them babies. So anyway, so that's that. And now let's talk about Summerween. So Summerween is a readathon that Gabby Reads does, and she has prompts that you're supposed to do. I'm gonna try to sit here and talk to y'all. I should probably just put these felons in the house and be done with it. So we went through all the prompts before. We'll talk about them again, but I want to get started now that I have a little minute to sit down and read. Because y'all know we got a lot going on. And of course the wind is starting to blow because I came out here to sit down and talk to y'all. So felons are barking, things are happening. So let's get this done. So one of her prompts is a book that you've had on your shelf for more than a year that you've been meaning to read. Y'all have seen this book on my shelf. There we go. Time and time again. And I've committed this year to reading this book. So we're gonna read it for Summerween. And somebody told me that the audio of this book is really good. If it was you, claim it in the chat. So I'm gonna start reading it, but I've gotten the Audible version of it as well. So I'm gonna read and listen. I'm gonna read for a while. I'm gonna put those felons inside. I'm gonna sit out here and relax and read. And then I'm gonna start listening because I gotta clean up my house. I gotta make some dinner. I got classes this evening. I gotta teach. So I'm gonna read. My understanding is that it's about, so it is dark academia. Y'all know how I love me some dark academia. And it's about translators at at Oxford. I did just remember that right then. And I don't know if y'all know this, but, well, I did some linguistics. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Sorry, I hear somebody coming and the felons are being crazy. My linguistics is in dead languages. We've probably talked about this. I know, super useful, super marketable. That's what my daddy said the whole time I was in school. But anyway, so I'm very excited about the like deep nerdy language stuff that I hope is in here. So I'm gonna start reading and get us out of this wind. Well, I'm gonna sit out here in this wind, but I'm gonna get y'all out of this wind. So I'm gonna start reading and I'll be back probably tomorrow and let y'all know. I'm gonna read and listen and I'll be back once I get a bit of the ways into it, because y'all, this is a honker. Once I get a bit of the ways into it and find out what it's about, I'll come back and let you know. Y'all, I don't know why I feel such a need to vindicate myself by showing you this, but Felon Bo just needed a comfort break. So I took him outside, and here, I'm gonna stand here and see if I can actually work my focus. Look who's back. It's the big baby bird. Look how big they've gotten. I think there's only one left in there. But yeah, so that's the one I tried to show y'all before. And he had flown the coop. So he must have just been out on a runabout, or a hop about? I don't even, oh, that's not it, that's it. On a hop about? I don't know, anyway. All right, I'm gonna go back to reading, bye y'all. Friends, hey, I'm clearly finna go jump on the bike and read some of Babel. Well, not this, I'm gonna read my Kindle that's out by the bike, but I just wanted to check in and let you know what I know before I learn some more stuff and forget what we already know. So, let me just tell you, sorry, the intern is sleeping, so I gotta be kind of quiet, but let me just tell you how much I am completely in love with this book. Now, I've thought about what I can and can't tell you, because I've been reading kind of a lot, so I know a lot, but the things that I know kind of like, the whole thing kind of comes up in dribs and drabs, like you figure it out as you're going along, so I'm gonna be super careful as I tell you, but you know nothing so far, so let me tell you this. Our main character is this fella from Canton, China, his name becomes Robin Swift, and you'll see, but he's an orphan from Canton during a time when things are awful. Like, folks are poor and sick and dying, and there's I was gonna say Ebola outbreak, it's not Ebola, it's cholera. Folks are all dying of the cholera. And so our gonna be Robin, sorry, did y'all hear that? Daisy's up there yapping. But anyway, Robin is in Canton just like desperate, not sure what he's going to do. He's poor, folks are sick, and this British gentleman shows up and like magics Robin well. And Robin has grown up in this, hang on, y'all hold. Sorry, no idea where I was, but so Robin has grown up surrounded by books, which we don't know why, but this British dude shows up, magics him well, and whisks him away to, again, details, which I'm not going to tell you, but he ends up being raised and like sort of groomed, and I use that word advisedly. Hang on, let me let these felons outside. But he ends up being groomed to go to, there we go, to go to the translation, oh, this light is lovely, to go to the Translation Academy at Oxford, which is, of course, called Babel. Oh, y'all, this light. This is a dream come true. I don't know why I'm getting all set back up, because I'm going to have to go back and get those felons in a second. But anyway, to go to the Translation Academy, which is, of course, Babel. And it's in a tower. And y'all, the Tower of Babel, not a great literary reference. It is, of course, a biblical reference. And I don't know if you know the Tower of Babel story, but I will give you the sort of like Cliff Notes, Reader's Digest condensed version. But in the Tower of Babel, Genesis, I'm not even going to try, is it Genesis 9 maybe? I don't know. It's in Genesis for sure. But the folks try to build a tower to God, to get to God, which is like super hubristic, and God's like, no, smite. So he smites the folks, spreads them all over the world, and gives them all different languages. And that's why the people of the world speak different languages, because they got all hubristic and made God mad. But so, yeah, so Tower of Babel, not the best. It's like the same thing like why you don't see many Bible following folks naming their children Cain, because of, you know, Cain and Abel. But I guess in that like duology, dichotomy, whatever, you'd rather be the Cain than the Abel. But either way, not the best. So Where am I going with all of that? I don't know, except that now Robin has grown. We met him when he was a kid. He's grown and things, oh y'all, the things. But anyway, so he has grown up with this, or I guess under the tutelage of this British gent who, y'all, this dude, let me just say this dude like showed up in Canton, picked up this orphan boy and took him to raise. Just some sketchy stuff's going on there, but anyway, so Robin is like grown-ish. Well, he's of college age now. So now we are going to Babel. We're going off to Oxford to Babel. So I'm gonna go get on the bike and ride. I gotta get back to class. So I gotta go. So let me get the felons. I'm gonna go ride and I'll be back like later and let you know what happens once we get to Oxford. I don't know why I keep doing this, but I guess because I'm in a hurry and I got to stop talking. So let me go do that and I will be back later and let y'all know some more things. All right. So y'all enjoy your day and I will see you when I see you. All right. Bye now. Friends, I'm ootin' a boot. I'm headed to an appointment and I left early to take y'all with me so that we could go have a fun little adventure. And let me tell you what, I've been working on Babel. I've been reading. I started listening. Whoever told me to listen to the audiobook, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. It is so good. But when last we talked, ooh, this road is crunchy. That's not nice. When last we talked, we had met Robin Swift. Y'all are bashing y'all's head upside that windshield. We had met Robin Swift. I'm going to dash across this road. And he was on his way to Oxford to study in the... No, y'all. Looky here. Right there is where we were going. Hang on. Well, now I can tell y'all the surprise I was going to show you because it's gone. We were going... Let me not get my clock cleaned by this truck. Well, I thought we were going right here to look for books at the not Salvation Army, at the Goodwill store, which has apparently moved. So we'll just sit here in the parking lot in front of where the Goodwill store used to be. I can undo my seatbelt because now I'm sitting still. Y'all don't come for me. We are sitting in a parking lot. And we can talk about Babel. So Robin Swift has gone to college. He is at Oxford and he's made friends. He has met folks who are not like him, right? I mean, when you go to college, you meet folks who are not like you anyway, but Robin Swift is this like poor kid who barely survived cholera in freaking Canton, China. How many folks at Oxford do you think he's going to meet like that? So he makes some friends from sort of like different parts of the British Empire. And of course, we like get to know his friends, and I feel like y'all are looking over the top of my head. We get to know his friends and like become friends with his friends, and it's Remy, Victoire, and Letty. And as he becomes sort of part of the thing at Oxford, we start to learn, I think I told you before that there was some kind of magic, like that the man magicked him well or something. Well, there's magic going on at Babel in Oxford. And it has to do with the languages and the translation. And I got to be super careful and not tell you too much, but I'm just going to tell you that the people who are in charge, like the leaders at the school, the people who are in charge of the powers that be at the school, are in league with the governments, and they use the powers to manipulate people and like sort of keep people under control, I guess. And so of course, you know, the students learn, or like that generation, like the students, the younger generation learns about it and they ain't down with that. So there's a rebellion. And of course, Remy becomes knowledgeable of the rebellion, involved in it, something. There's a rebellion. It's all, I can't tell you too much. Stop it. Y'all stop asking questions. So things ensue. Involvement in the rebellion ensues. And I don't know if you've ever been involved in a rebellion. Okay, I've never been involved in a rebellion, y'all, but I read a lot of books. And when folks get involved in rebellions, I'm not going to say it doesn't end well, but it's never pretty. Like, there always has to be like destruction and loss and stuff blows up. So that's what we're dealing with now. So y'all, I'm so verklempt over the Goodwill being gone, and now I'm early for my appointment, so, which was not at the Goodwill. I did not have an appointment at the Goodwill, but I was going to go to the Goodwill, find us some new books, and then go to my appointment. So I guess I'm going to go on ahead and go to my appointment, and maybe I'll just drive up and down the road and listen to Babel. Y'all don't judge me. You know you've done the same thing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to drive up and down the road and listen to Babel. And I guess I'll see y'all back at the house. I'll check back in later and let you know when I know some. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to check in the end, because I've already told you too much. I'm already completely beside myself over I'm worried I ruined something. So I'll check in. I'm going to finish this book and I'll check in, let you know probably nothing more other than how I feel about it, and then what we're going to read next. So, because we're doing Summerween, so that's what I'll do. I'll finish Babel. We'll back at the house. We'll talk about our Summerween prompts. Babel was the book you've had for more than a year, and then we'll talk about the other prompts and what books we're going to read for those. So Babel is my book I've had for more than a year, and there was like something about a book with a sky on the cover, and Babel is, you know, the Tower of Babel, and there's sky in the cover, so it might count for that too. But all right, let me go. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna see if we can get our friends out of trouble, and I'll see y'all when I'm done. All right, I hope y'all are enjoying your day, and I'll see you soon. Bye now. All right, friends, it's time for a little update. As you can see, look at this, I got stuff everywhere. As you can see, I just finished riding on the bike, and Lord, is it noisy out here. I thought this would be a nice little like bucolic scene. Bucolic, is that the word I'm looking for? Like pastoral, pretty scene. We could sit out here. I could do some planting. We could talk about some books, but now the wind's blowing. The neighbor's mowing. I don't know where the felons went. Oh, there's a felon. The felons are feloning. Anyway, let me tell y'all what's up, and then I'm gonna get down to some stuff. I just finished Babel while I was riding the bike. Y'all, I am shooketh. And if you're like, why are you sitting in the middle of the yard doing this? The intern asked the same thing. Let me tell you why. Because y'all remember the other day when I did this, like the patio is over there, and I had just dirt everywhere. Well, then I had to like clean up my dirt. Well, from here, I can just get the hose and hose it into the yard. So that's the idea behind doing this in the yard. And the felons can hang out by me. So anyway, I finished Babel. I'm shooketh, and I cannot tell y'all a thing in the world about what happened because I've already told you too much, but we're gonna move on to our next book. But let's talk for a minute. We're doing Summerween. So let's talk for a minute about our prompts. So Babel was our book that you've owned. There's the other felon. Sorry if they do things behind me. I clearly cannot see them. So if they're being untoward back there, I apologize ahead of time. So anyway, Babel was my book that I've had for well over a year. Like I've been talking, last year I think I said I was going to read it during that year and didn't do it. But anyway, so that was my book I've had for over a year that I wanted to read. So the prompts, I think there are 5 prompts. I'm not going to get these in order, but read a book in the dark, read a book you've had for over a year, read a mystery or horror or mystery book, read a shorts or a novella or a manga, a book with a sky on the cover. So Babel was my book that I've had for over a year, and it's a book with a sky on the cover. And I killed 3 birds with this one stone, y'all, because last night I was laying in the bed reading Babel and I fell asleep. So I was reading in the dark, I fell asleep, and the intern came in, and y'all, I was sound asleep. And you know how, look what I did. So I started these trimmings, can y'all see that? And they're like all rooted down into these rocks, and now I'm trying to get them out so I can plant them. You know what I might do? Watch what I might do. I don't know if this is gonna work at all, but I'm gonna put some drainage stuff in the bottom here. And I'm just gonna take this whole handful of mess and try to dump it straight in there without getting too many rocks in the yard so the intern doesn't send them flying when he mows the lawn. All right then. And I'm gonna throw some dirt on top and just see how it goes. Like these were literally just trimmings from plants that I have that are growing crazy. So I don't want them to die. Well, I don't want them to die. I'm just gonna say that. But I didn't pay any money for them. So all that I have invested in them is emotion. So anyway, the intern came in last night. I'm sound asleep in the bed with my Kindle open. I'm sure I'm like kicked back snoring. So he wakes me up. And you know how when you wake up a kitten, like when a kitten is like all kicked out of sleep and you wake them up and they like jump up like they've been shot out of a cannon? That's how I woke up when the intern woke me up from falling asleep reading Babel, because y'all, I swaney unto goodness. In my dream, I was in the rebellion, and whoever it was that was waking me up, I did not think it was the intern, but it was somebody coming to get us, and I was not going down without a fight. So he finally like gets me to come to, like, you know, come to my senses, realize that I'm in the bed, not in some rebellion. And so he's like, haven't we talked about you not reading scary books at night in the dark? And I was like, I was not reading a scary book. He's like, so what was that freaking exorcist thing you just did? I said, yeah, I know, sorry. So anyway, read a book in the dark, read a book that I've had for over a year, and a book with a sky on the cover. So now, dang it, I meant to bring a towel out here so that I can show y'all. You're not gonna be able to see this. I'm gonna end up having to stick it up here somewhere, but while I sit out here and do this, I'm gonna start reading. This is gonna open straight up. So I have, I know you can't see this at all, sorry. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. The wind just picked up. What is happening here? So I'm gonna start listening to that, and I think it's probably not gonna take me very long to get through it because I have so much to do today, like chores around the house wise, that I'm gonna get a whole bunch of listening done. And so I checked it out. Did y'all see that? I checked it out from my library on Libby. And I also have the Kindle. I don't know if I owned the Kindle book or if I checked it out, but somehow it's in my Kindle. So I can listen and read it. So it should not take me long at all to get through this little gem. So I'm gonna start it right now whilst I'm working on my plants. And it also, as you will see, because I know you can't see because I'm very far away from you, it also has a sky on the cover. So if you're like, Babel doesn't really count for a sky on the cover because that's all black and scary, this one also has a sky on the cover. So this is gonna be my mystery thriller sky on the cover book, along with Babel being my sky on the cover book. And I'm gonna start listening to this. I have my AirPods here. I'm gonna start listening to this and I will be back. I'll probably check in about halfway through and let y'all know how it's going. So let me do this. Let me get these plants planted. Look at how that turned out. Now let's see if we can just get it, you know, settled and growing without me killing it. And life will be good. So let me do this, let me listen to that, and I'll be back later and let you know how it's going. All right, friends, I did some cleaning about the house, and then after, well, I was listening to None of This Is True. Y'all, I forget how much I like Lisa Jewell. Why do we not read more of her books? Remember we read, whatchamacallit? Oh, Then She Was Gone. Oh my gosh, was that good? So I was listening, y'all know I was listening to None of This Is True while I was doing my planting. And then when I came inside and I was like straightening up, whatever. Oh my gosh. So much like Then She Was Gone, it sucks you right in from the jump. So our female main characters are Alex and Josie. And we meet them, well, I think we meet Josie first in a bar somewhere in England. and she's going out for her birthday, and she runs into Alex, who is also at the bar for her birthday, and they find out that they're birthday twins, like born, like they're the same age, born in the same hospital. I don't know if we find out then if they're born at the same time or whatever, but anyway. And it just takes off from there. Josie's a little crazy, which we learned from the jump. And Josie does a little stalking and finds out that Alex is a famous podcaster. And so Josie starts stalking Alex. And it's an omniscient narrator. So we get some like inside their head views of the characters, which gives us like just enough insight into them to really sort of suck us in, like get us really involved in their lives and like in their thoughts and feelings and stuff. And it shows us just enough of what they're doing to like, I kept yelling at crazy Josie when she was doing crazy stuff, like stop doing what it is that she does. And it's just really intriguing the way that it's not alternating first person perspectives, it's alternating omniscient perspectives, but because of the omniscient narrator, like I said, you see inside these people. But anyway, so you see, I'm not gonna be able to tell y'all anything, because if you've read any Lisa Jewell, you already know why, because like every bit of the story is a big deal. And it's just interesting the way that it unfolds and develops. And it's all like Then She Was Gone. Then She Was Gone. Is that what it was called? It was all like, it was all the thing. Like it was all part of the puzzle. And this seems to be developing the same way that, sorry, the intern is Zoot in a Boot, and I thought that might be him saying he was coming home, but so I was going to drag him in here to talk to us, but tweren't him. Anyway, so no idea what I was saying. You get dragged in, like, because you're sort of inside their heads, you see, like, okay, so we know that Josie's the crazy one. We learned that very early on. And you see Alex getting dragged in, and you want to yell at her and be like, dude, even though you have this thing going on over there, you don't need to get involved in this thing over here. Like they're not, stop, just don't, just seriously don't. But you know, she's gonna, and she does. And Josie has some stuff, y'all. She has some stuff. I'm sure there are trigger warnings to this book. Of course, I just dive straight in, don't look at none of that stuff. But there are some interesting things. So maybe just check trigger warnings if you're going to read it. But so I say all that. I went and got on the bike, even though I was done. Like I was completely, like I had hit all my things today. I did all my workouts. But I was cleaning and I was like done with that, like had enough of that. But I wanted to like consume some more. So I went from listening while I was cleaning to reading while I was riding. So now there's really, I've like no more excuses. I need to go get in the shower and wash this fur because y'all saw I was outside, like I sweated and then I was outside and then I sweated some more and I cleaned and I'm dusty and I know, sounds delightful, right? You really wish you had smell-o-vision now, but anyway, so I'm going to get cleaned up. You know what? I'm probably not even going to be back with this book before I finish it, but no part of me thinks that I'm not going to love it because I'm already completely sucked in. I have fallen for all of the twists and turns so far. So I'm so excited to see what happens. So let me go do the things, make dinner for the intern, and then I'll be back either if I feel like I need to tell you something or in the end, because we still need to do our, is it novella or manga? So let me do this, we'll talk about it, and then we'll do that, and then we'll be out. So I'll be back in a while. No, actually, I'll probably be back tomorrow. At some point, I'll be back. All right, friends, I finished None of This Is True, and truly, none of it was true. Like, I figured that, like, as it was sort of wrapping up, you know, I had my theories on what was happening, but I kind of knew I was wrong. But oh my gosh, like I was so, like, I was so wrong. Like, I was surprised, like amazed, blown away at how wrong I was. I mean, and I can be wrong, but oh my goodness. So anyway, that was really good. So let's go over Summerween again quickly. So there are 5 prompts. I don't know the order they come in, but read a book that you've had for over a year. So that was Babel. Read a book with a sky on the cover. So Babel and None of This Is True have skies on the cover. Read a book at night. Y'all remember how that went down. I woke up like I'd been shot out of a cannon. Thought the intern had come to kidnap me or something. Read a mystery or a thriller. So that was None of This Is True. And then read a novella or a manga. So I'm going to read, I found this on, can y'all see that? I found this on Kindle Unlimited. It is a novella by Margot Hunt called The House on the Water. And I believe it's a mystery. So that's still, and look, it has a sky on the cover. So there we go. So that hits 3 of our things. It's got a sky on the cover. I think it is a mystery of some sort or a thriller or something. And it is a novella. So I'm going to start this. I know nothing about it. I was going to try to guess things. The cover is awful, but I know nothing. I don't know. I found it on Kindle Unlimited. I figure it's like, I don't know, 100-ish. Hang on, let me look. It is 80 pages. So I'll finish this pretty quickly. I will come back and let you know. Well, I'll let you know what I know. I'm just gonna read it because, like I said, it's 80 pages. So I'm not gonna read for like an hour and come back and then read for another hour and be done. So I will come back at the end and then we will wrap up this Summerween thing. All right. So y'all leave me alone. Let me read. I'll be back. All right, friends. The felons have brought me outside for a comfort break. So I thought it's a lovely day out. We may as well come out and wrap this thing up. We can talk about The House on the Water, which, as I suspected, did not take long at all to get through. Talk about this and wrap up Summerween. And I know y'all are thinking, haven't we learned our lesson about going outside with the felons on their comfort breaks? Apparently not, but I think today they're just back there eating random things off the ground. So we should be okay. And this will not take us long because The House on the Water, I keep thinking The House on Pooh Corner, which is a completely different work. Anyway, The House on the Water, like I said, novella, we know this. It's like 80-ish pages. So we have to remember with novellas, there's not going to be a whole lot of development, right? We're going to jump straight in the middle of things. Some stuff's going to happen and then we're going to get out. And a novella is really just kind of like a longer short story, right? Like it really kind of centers around one event, but there's a little bit too much to it for it to be a short story. So it's a novella, not a short novel. So, because it's like one event, but it's too much to be a short story. Anyway, our novella, The House on the Water, is about, so it's told first person perspective from one of a pair of like college best friends who vacation, like starting in college, they go away on like summers together every year. And of course in college it's like, you know, they have the drunken road trip to Key West or whatever. And then as they mature and like get into their lives and start making money or whatever, the trip, hang on. Okay. The trips become like more and more sophisticated, but we join them like 26 years after college on a summer where they've rented a house, or it's like a, you know, like a vacation rental, whatever. And it's the two of them are narrators, like our narrator is with her husband. Esme, the best friend, is divorced. So she's their stag, and Esme's brother and his boyfriend come along. And one of them ends up dead like pretty quickly, and then the whole thing is about trying to figure out who killed them because they're in the house is locked, the security system's on. I don't think there's no ring cameras or anything, but they know that nobody got in the house because the security system's armed and it hasn't been disarmed. So the whole thing is about figuring out who killed the person who ends up dead. And it does that thing. So first of all, it's 80 pages. So like I said, it's a novella. There can't be like all that much development, but I enjoyed the characters. There are some things that you expect to happen that, like, when you start reading it, you're like, okay, this is like super trope heavy. Like, you know, the brother and sister are turbo rich, and the brother has a boyfriend, and they think the boyfriend's a gold digger, and, you know, so it's all of that stuff. And that I thought developed in a charming way that was unexpected. But then the conclusion, it's fine. Like, it's a nice little story. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way that it was told. I enjoyed the way that it developed. And I mean, I was only 80 pages invested in it, so I mean, it was fine. But it does that thing at the end where it like throws a whole bunch of information at you all at once, where you're like, well, yeah, I mean, of course, knowing all that, well, that makes sense. Which, I mean, I guess is kind of like if it were a novel, like if it were novel length, then all of these things would have come out over like the last 3 or 4 chapters. But since it's a novella, they all come out like in the last, like, you know, 3 or 4 pages. But it was very entertaining. I really enjoyed it. I don't know that Margot Hunt is the author, is a novelist. If so, I don't know, maybe I would read. I definitely wouldn't say I won't read any of her USA Today best-selling author. So I don't know if it was best-selling author of this book or of this novella, but I definitely would not say I won't read any of her novels because of this short story. I enjoyed it fine. So anyway, that's it for Summerween, y'all. And I think we did pretty well. Our novella was good. Babel was fantastic after years of putting that off. Our mystery book, look at this little felon. Our mystery book, the name of which is completely escaping me right now. Oh, None of This Is True was fantastic, full of like interesting and quirky characters, and the twists in that had me on a tack, y'all, like on a tack. And then this was entertaining as well. So I'm going to call Summerween 2025 an absolute success. So y'all, let us know in the comments. Did you do Summerween? If so, what did you read? And even if not, what are you reading now? Let us know in the comments. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we are most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos over on Fit Danielle Eats the beginning of every week, with some book videos over here sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.